So the Blaze held like a presidential forum, and they had Tucker host it, and Tucker destroyed every one of these guys, and he wasn't trying. Believe me, that's not his goal. I don't think it is. I think his goal is to expose neocons. But anyway, Mike Pence is there, and he just exposes him immediately over what's happening in Ukraine and the Republican Party's Ukraine position. Watch this.
Along the way, the Biden administration has been slow in providing military support. Make no mistake about this. We promised them 33 Abrams tanks in January. I heard again 2 weeks ago in Ukraine, they still don't have them. We've been telling them we'll train their F-16 pilots, but now they're saying maybe January we'll let somebody transfer some jets.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, have you, I know you're running for president. You are distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years. Yeah. Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States. And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. Public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased. And yet, your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, like, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern. Tucker, I've heard that routine from you before, but that's not my concern.
Whoa.
What? So,
Yikes.
okay. Are the presidential elections being held in Kiev or something? I'm as shocked as you. Mike Pence is running for president. Jeb Bush has more raw charisma than this guy. But so what Tucker just did was reveal that these guys don't have any concern about the United States, the people, solving problems. All they care about is doing the bidding of their donors, and their donors want more stuff, weapons sent to Ukraine, and he's going to get it there faster.
Yeah, 33 tanks are going to make all the difference.
That's right.
Like, it doesn't even make sense for Ukraine. What are you saying? Then the F-16, you can't just train the pilots, just fly F-16 if they're trained on MiGs. That's not how that works. Even if you're just a regular commercial pilot, you can't do that.
So what he says next is he just goes into his stump speech. And I don't know if I have it. Let me see.
I'm running for president of the United States because I think this country's in a lot of trouble. I think Joe...
Yeah. So then he goes into this thing. I think, yeah, that's what Tucker just said.
We didn't get those tanks to Ukraine. We are.
That's what Tucker just said. He just laid out for you the problem, and he turns. So now, well, here's our friend Simon Ateba. He says, when Tucker, you know him, he's from the White House press correspondent, and he always mixes it up with the
African white supremacist?
Yes, this is the African white supremacist. When Tucker Carlson interviewed nearly every major GOP presidential candidate yesterday during Blaze TV's live event in Iowa, Fox News didn't cover it. Still, his exchange with Mike Pence became one of the most watched videos online. It was a reminder of why Tucker is Carlson.
I don't get the last part, but
I don't get either, but I like this. This is what, hey, we want a decent standard of living in the United States. Best I can do is World War III. The best I could do is World War III.
It is the best he could do. I mean...
That's what Mike Pence is saying. Hey, we just want a decent standard of living in the United States. Fuck off. We're going full-blown. I'm going to make sure Ukraine gets taken care of. We're paying the pensions of the government workers in Ukraine. We're literally paying their pensions of the government workers. We're paying their salaries.
Oh, good.
And we're paying their pensions of the government workers in Ukraine.
Okay, just hold on until we can get those tanks here, though.
Do you think we could use a jobs program here in the United States, Kurt? Maybe a good high-paying jobs program?
I think we use some more vaccines.
I think we... Tucker Carlson then went and gave a speech at this Turning Point thing, and watch what he says. Here, watch.
I don't want to attack anyone on personal grounds.
He goes, I don't want to attack anybody on personal grounds. Watch, though.
I don't want to attack anyone on personal grounds or by name. It's tempting. I will say it's tempting. Whoever said do it, you're the devil on my shoulder. Do it! I've spent my whole life. No. But if I could make some general observations, which I think are more edifying than just like savaging Mike Pence. I think...
Why would he run?
Which I'm not going to do. because that would be wrong. And it would be wrong because it's too easy. And the easy things are not rewarding, are they? You don't feel good when you beat your 5-year-old in soccer or ping pong.
And that's why I never focused on Trump jokes. It's a little too easy. A little harder to make fun of the system that gave you Donald Trump. But most comedians take the low-hanging fruit and they do the easy thing, just like he said.
Again, Trump picked Pence, too.
I know.
Like, that's the guy you picked to help you drain the swamp.
So that was Mike Pence's big moment. And now Mike Pence is saying that when he said, that's not my concern, I mean, everybody thought that America's being hollowed out and every city has gotten worse in the last 3 years because that's what Tucker just said. When he said, that's not my concern, he's saying the tanks to Ukraine were not his concern. But it didn't look like that to anybody else who was watching it.
You were concerned about it.
Obviously,
concerned.
You were very concerned because you were just bitching that Joe Biden was late getting him those things, and you're going to get him those tanks, and you're going to get him those fighters, and you were concerned about it. So this idea that you weren't concerned about that is a lie. So anyway, that's his big...
He's like an animatronic from Disney World. That's who they get for the candidates, it seems like. They just take the robots from Disney World instead of putting them as robots after.
I think he's ended. I think that ends Pence right there. And he went on to just a stupid stump speech after.
Who thought he could be president at all? Why would he even think that?
And then here's one more. Let me play this for you. So now, Zelensky has outlawed all his opposition political parties. He's outlawed all the opposition newspapers, any press that's critical of him, and they're starting to lock up Christian leaders.
The Russian Orthodox Church, you mean?
Christian leaders.
Russian in it? Yeah.
And so they're Christian. They're Christian priests, and Tucker is upset about it because he's a Christian. And he's like, how could you? So here's what he says.
May I ask, would you be, and I believe you have a good faith position on this, and we have disagreements on it, but I want to I can't let you elide over the question of the treatment of Christians.
I know, I heard
and
that
would
again,
you be,
Tucker.
well, no, but hold on.
So Tucker had asked him about this earlier, and he said, I talked to this guy in Ukraine who's a Christian leader, and he says that's not happening. So I have to take his word for it that guy said it's not happening, even though we all know it is happening. So he said some Christian guy he talked to in Ukraine said it's not happening. Zelensky's he's not arresting Christian priests. Well, we know that is happening. And so he thought that would end it. And Tucker's not letting it end. Tucker's like, no, I'm not going to fight. He said he met with some Christian priest
guy. The guy have a cross that was like bent on the corners.
And so Tucker's not going to let him get away with it. And Tucker brings up, said, no, that's not a good enough answer that you talk to one fucking guy who says it's not happening because I know it is happening. So here he goes.
May I ask, would you be, and I believe you have a good faith position on this, and we have disagreements on it, but I want to I can't let you elide over the question of the treatment of Christians.
I know, I heard
and
that
would
again,
you be,
Tucker.
well, no, but hold on. Would you
the problem is you don't accept my answer. I just told you that I asked the religious leader in Kiev if it was happening. You asked me if I raised the issue, and I did.
And I'm saying
I also raised it with the Ukrainians, and I was told that there are religious leaders who have been working with the Russian military that is murdering people by the thousands.
Okay.
I mean, Tucker, look.
Wait, but hold on. Don't you think...
Let me explain to you what I think our national interest is there.
I would think you would have greater concern for religious liberty in Ukraine. And I'm surprised
I told you I raised the issue of religious liberty.
No, you spoke to one person who's clearly on one side of it, and there are many, many news reports that are not disputed by anybody that many clergy have been arrested in Ukraine. And I'm merely saying I may not agree with their views. I'm not Russian Orthodox, but you can't arrest clergy for having different views, period. Because if you do, you violate the basic tenet of religious liberty.
I want to be clear with you. I won't stand by it.
So Mike Pence is cool with it because those Christian clergy had sympathies towards the Russians. And so he's cool with the rest. And now he says, hey, I won't stand for it. You are standing for it because Tucker's been asking you about it for 5 minutes straight, and you keep saying it's not happening there. So you are standing for it because you're lying, because you know it is happening. Everyone knows it's happening. Everyone in that room knows it's happening. Tucker Carlson, the #1 newsman in America, he knows it's happening. That's why he's bringing it up.
Next, he's going to go ask the Pope if there's ever been any molestations.
The Pope said there isn't. There hasn't been any molestations.
I went to the leader.
I went to the leader.
The
he
most
said
truthful
no.
part of any organization.
And there you go. So by the way, Tucker Carlson. So what you will never see is Chuck Todd doing that, or Rachel Maddow doing that, or Anderson Cooper, or Sean Hannity. You'll never see them doing what Tucker Carlson is doing right here. He's asking obvious questions that every American wants asked, and he pushes back, and they'll never do that in corporate America. They'll never push back or ask a question about Ukraine. You know, their questions to Trump about Ukraine is, do you want Russia to win or lose? Those are their questions. Not like, hey, how do we get to peace?
Why did Pence even... You know, if he wasn't like, I think he's dumb now because
he is dumb.
If he had any brains, he'd be like, I won't even talk to Tucker Carlson. If he's going to go full,
I guess they didn't see this coming.
How? I mean,
wait, there's more to this too.
Oh my God.
Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Baltimore, San Francisco, Huntington Beach, Rosemont, and Chicago, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Connecticut, and more, and St. Louis. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all our tickets for all our shows.